assimilation. And has anybody ever seen the U.S. citizenship test before? Like an example of the questions? I'll have to print out some of the questions. Every couple of years the government comes up with a set of like 100 possible questions that could be asked, and then they pick, I think it's 10 at random. And it's a verbal test, it's a speaking test, because they want to not only find out if the candidate is, schooled in, United States government politics and things like that, but they also want to make sure that they can speak the language. So it's kind of it's sort of a tricky little test. It's a language test as well, but they don't flat out say that in the requirements, but it is. Yeah.
Whenever I went to San Francisco, I met this guy who's from London.
Mm-hmm.
He was just very since the drinking age is 18 there, it's like, oh, let's go to the bar.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I was like, you can't do that here,
Right.
that's
Right.
not legal. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, let's go get some champagne. And
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Right, so that's kind of sort of a legal example and also a social norm as well. Yeah, that's funny. That's a good example. Very good example. Yeah. I know, one of the things that, I have a good friend who moved over to, he lived in London for a while and then moved to France, and he was talking about trying to get used to things like, just like, for example, businesses will take long lunches over in Europe, and they'll just kind of decide to go out for lunch for a couple hours until they'll close, they'll put a sign on the door, and he's like, you can't just do that. American businesses don't just do that. They have set hours, and you could get fired if you just leave during the day, and things are more regulated typically. But so just getting used to social differences like that, and it's kind of an interesting thing. But anyways, okay, good. Anything else that you want to mention? Yeah, Maddie.
I know I think my aunt had to take the citizenship test.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we think because there is a language barrier that they're not as smart as we are. 'Cause
Right.
they're different. But
Right.
she's getting a nursing degree and everything like that. So she's super smart, but you wouldn't know if
Yeah.
you talk to her just because of stereotypes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anybody who sounds different, we automatically assume that they're either not as smart or they're just. I think it's we always are typically afraid of things that we don't understand, and I think that comes into play here with Native Americans. The white settlers they're used to all of these European ways of living, and then they're seeing people doing strange rain dances and worshiping things in nature and wearing animal skins, and I'm sure it was very, very shocking and unusual and hard to understand, and so as a result you might become angry just because you don't really understand what's going on, so and vice versa, obviously, with Native Americans and white settlers. So and not only that, but even within the settlement of I'm using the term white very loosely, obviously we have all of these different kinds of ethnicities coming from Europe and from Asia and from all over the world, and within that category is this huge broad array of religions and skin colors and languages, and so all of these people are trying to assimilate, and really there's no one correct way of living in America, but it's just that the Native American groups were particularly harassed for their ways of living, so, and for their culture. Okay, good. So for tomorrow, don't forget to write this down. I think there are only 4 identifications